So let us move on. Next up, we're going to head out to LA. And let's face it, LA, you know, of course, I live in California. I live in the Central Coast of California. And knock on some wood, but we haven't been seeing the problems that a place like San Francisco or Los Angeles have been seeing. We don't deal with blippers a lot. We don't deal with a lot of crime. And I want to say it's because of our police force here, their desire to keep certain things away from the area I live. There's no strip clubs here. Bummer. You know, things like that. There's not even a lot of the clubs that I used to work at back in the day, they're not here anymore. They've taken out the little clubs that they thought were ratchet or ghetto or anything like that. All those clubs are gone. So here where I live, we don't see as much of this horrible situation that these other cities and states are dealing with the crime. And in this situation out in LA, looks like a nice group of people, criminals as it were, decided that they were going to raid an Autozone. So let's check it out.
Police in South LA are looking for more suspects in a raid at an auto parts store. Dozens of people ransacked the place, but authorities did manage to catch one. KTLA's Gene Kang at the scene this morning with the latest. Gene, good morning.
People.
Good morning, Megan. There are many moving parts, you could say, in this story. Detectives just left the scene. They were here for hours. They were fingerprinting and, of course, gathering other evidence. There is security video that they were looking at to try and identify who those dozens of people were accused of being in that mob and then also forcing their way into this AutoZone store in South Los Angeles. Just a lot of devastation that the employees have to clean up this morning. Watch this.
First off, where are the police? This had to take some time. Where are the police? This had to take some decent amount of time. Is this in just a really bad neighborhood that the police don't go to? This doesn't...
So much chaos. Police report about 50 people broke into the store earlier this morning. They ransacked the place, causing mayhem, accused of stealing auto parts and then taking off. By the time officers arrived, the large group had scattered, making it very difficult to apprehend anyone on the spot. Then there's this video. Around 3:50 a.m., LAPD received 911 calls about a street takeover very close by. That was Century Boulevard and Hoover Street here in South Los Angeles. Officers quickly called for backup as the situation escalated. Now, we don't have video of the next incident, but officers tell us one driver refused to stop for police, leading to a brief but intense pursuit. CHP got involved at one point. The pursuit ended up in El Segundo, where it was by Pepper Street and Sycamore Avenue. One suspect was finally arrested. And then there's this new video. Police are dusting the front door of the AutoZone for fingerprints while they try to identify people by looking over their surveillance video of that burglary. We spoke to a former employee who says he saw the street takeover and dozens of people snatch whatever they possibly could from the store, possibly thousands of dollars in merchandise, plus residents nearby who say it's unsafe here with criminal activity on the rise.
But this time it was more hectic. You know, they were taking over there, like, man, like,
all right,
I couldn't exactly what they're saying, but I just seen a whole bunch of people.
This dude was one. Okay. Bruh, there was just a street takeover robbery at the AutoZone. Cuz has a CarQuest hat on, which now you think you see a CarQuest hat on the person, you think they probably work at a dealership or auto shop, but that says, what it say, quality CarQuest, quality parts on it. Bruh, did one of your homies get you a hat, bruh? Did you get a free hat this morning? Come on.
Started rushing in there and just started breaking in and taking a whole bunch of stuff.
He
you know,
was
and
there.
it was just crazy.
And the street takeover right here is just ridiculous, man. Like every 2 days, it's an accident right here.
But this my Autozone. This my hood. This my area. I live in this area, so I frequent this Autozone.
And what goes through your head when you hear it's ransacked and there's a large mob?
Man, it's just crazy. It seems like it's just getting worse.
Well, as you see, there are many cars in the parking lot of this Autozone, and these are all store employees. Now, they cannot go on camera, but they did tell me that they were terrified when that happened. Detectives now looking into who that huge group was. There are many people from other AutoZone stores coming in, including district and regional managers. But that is the very latest here from the scene in South Los Angeles. I'm Gene Kang, and I'm going to send it back to you in the studio for now.
Do you like having a P.O. box but are tired of...
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. When I first saw that story, my first thought was, what is they gonna do with them parts? But, you know, I would beg to say that a majority of those folks in those hoodies probably don't have cars. Why? I'm not sure I understand what a street takeover is. I guess that means that a whole bunch of kids get together and it's so many of them that they take over a street, and I guess that means that cops can't stop them. When does this world get so soft, man? I mean, what are we doing? There's no way that had to take at least an hour. How long is the police response time in LA? No one called. It must be in a really bad neighborhood for it to go down like that. But it just, you know, this laxed approach on crime that the new world has adopted is killing us. This desire to be so inclusive of everybody, including criminals, and renaming them, you know, not renaming them to things that are softer and being soft on them, and you know, not arresting people for the small thing. When I was a criminal, they arrested me for everything. When I was a criminal, I mean, I went to jail for the littlest stuff. And now you can run up in the AutoZone and mob it and take everything, even though you ain't got a car and you ain't got no way to sell the stuff unless you're going to put it on eBay, which would be another way for them to find that you was in there and put your ass in jail. It just amazes me how lackluster the effort is to stop criminals has been. I mean, and it's just part of the whole inclusive thing on the softness on the world that we're in. We just don't have. Back in the day, people would be ashamed to be robbing like that. It would be shameful. There was a little girl up in there that I saw. She had on a tank top and was walking out that thing with on her phone. Her mama gonna see this. There's no shame in the world anymore. Nobody. It's just crazy that something like that can happen, and they can only catch one person. Did you see? And we got video of it. I mean, hoodies and masks on. People are just skirting the law left and right, and I'm pissed off because it wasn't happening like that when I was a kid and when I was, you know, committing crimes and being a bad guy. Man. But I digress, man. You know, it's just crazy. You know, I worked in the AutoZone before. It's you know, I just keep thinking about how all they just went in there to destroy it. There's no purpose. You know, wasn't running in there to get them a battery for the car. You know, a Duralast or something. No, they were in there for the fun of it. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a couple of cats in there that probably do on the side oil changes, so they got them some oil and some oil filters. Maybe they could make a couple dollars on the street, you know, doing oil changes for the boppers. But this world has just taken such a soft stance on crime that it's polluting everything. It's polluting everything. All right, let's move on. Last but not least, and of course, we're going to start extending the show a little bit longer. We still only do our show for roughly about 20-30 minutes. We run through, 2 or 3 top stories. But we're going to start extending the show longer, start going live, bringing in guests, all that fancy stuff. So just bear with us. We're just starting out. We want to get our bearings. We're going to really get this going. We're going to really help you with getting your cars. The automotive company is up and running. So if you guys need a car, give us a call. Let's jump into